Sometimes Malaysian politics, it just feels like it's stuck, sort of running in circles. Just last night, actually, Dr. Puad Zarkashi, a prominent figure, he put up this Facebook post. And it really hit on something fundamental we've been seeing. He basically pointed out that these attempts to, well, destabilize the current government, especially targeting Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim, they're really not over. Far from it. But the whole strategy, it seems, has changed quite dramatically. It's not really about street protests anymore.
That's exactly it. And what's quite fascinating, I think, from Dr. Puad Zarkashi's observation is how he sees Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad's approach evolving. He actually predicts this continuous dig. I think that's how we put it, looking for controversial issues.
Right, ticking.
Yeah. And this doesn't feel like just, a minor political skirmish. It feels much more strategic, like a sustained campaign almost, designed to stir up public unrest. What do you think about that? This constant churn, this recurring pattern, does it feel relentless to you?
Well, Dr. Puad Zarkashi's post, it definitely lays out this shift quite clearly. He notes that, look, direct street action, that's probably not going to shake Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim's government at this point.
Yeah.
So the tactic changes, right? It becomes about uncovering things, maybe even generating sensational topics to attack opponents.
And we have seen things that might fit that pattern, haven't we? Remember the leaked records from the Judicial Appointment Commission meeting?
Yes, the JCR records leak.
Exactly. The body recommending judicial appointments. Now, we don't know for sure who was behind leaking that, but Dr. Puad Zarkashi, he views that specifically as a kind of warning, an example of this digging tactic in action, really designed to create a feeling of instability.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings up a pretty important question, doesn't it? How much does this sort of information warfare, how much does it actually sway public opinion or political stability here in Malaysia?
He also drew a really interesting historical parallel. Dr. Puad Zarkashi brought up the 1998 UMNO General Assembly.
Right, the United Malays National Organization's big meeting back then.
Yeah. And at that assembly, Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim, who was the deputy president then, he seemed to agree with some criticisms floating around about cronyism. And those criticisms, apparently, touched on Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad's son's consortium linked to Dana Harta, that was the asset agency from the 98 crisis.
Dana Harta, yes.
And according to Dr. Puad Zarkashi's reading of it, Tun Dr. Mahathir felt threatened by that. And that, he believes, was the actual root cause behind Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim's dismissal back then.
So if you connect those dots, like his analysis suggests, you see this this potential pattern, right? Tun Dr. Mahathir tends to act perhaps quite decisively when he feels his interests or maybe his family's interests are under threat, or even when he faces a challenge within the party structure itself.
It seems fundamental.
It really does. It speaks to that decades-long tension between these two, towering figures. It's like this deep undercurrent running through Malaysian politics.
And another point Dr. Puad Zarkashi made was about Tun Nudin, the former finance minister. Even now, with the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, the MACC, investigating his assets, Tun Dr. Mahathir has been publicly defending him.
Quite vocally.
And Dr. Puad Zarkashi, he sees that as another tactic, maybe a way to create issues or perhaps divert attention, basically applying pressure indirectly. Not a frontal attack, but more of a, like you said, a strategic nuisance, perhaps.
Yeah, a strategic nuisance. That's a good way to put it. So what we could be looking at here isn't just, standard disagreements over policy. It might be a much, much deeper power struggle, and one that's heavily influenced by these personal factors, this long shared history between the key players involved, this kind of ongoing public opinion battle or psychological warfare. It definitely keeps the political atmosphere very charged, very dynamic.
So, okay, what does all this mean for you listening right now?
Well, the most immediate impact is probably just continued political uncertainty here in Malaysia. It's hard to ignore when you have these high-level figures seemingly locked in this kind of ongoing struggle. It just naturally makes you wonder, doesn't it? About the direction the country's heading, about policy stability, even about economic development.
Indeed. And if Dr. Puad Zarkashi's warning, the one from his Facebook post, if that holds true, well, then we should probably expect more explosive information, as he put it, or more controversial topics bubbling up to the surface, all potentially aimed, as he suggests, at unsettling Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim's government.
This whole political entanglement really makes you pause and think, when can Malaysian politics finally move past this cycle dominated by strongman personalities and, frankly, personal grievances? When can we actually get to a stage where the focus is more squarely on policy, on the things that affect the daily lives of, the common people? That, I suppose, is the really big question, isn't it? The ultimate question for all of us to keep watching and to think about quite deeply.